Let's get you more on this now. I'm joined in studio by Sipho Mantula from the Institute for Dispute Resolution in Africa. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much, Sipho, for joining us. I guess we can't look at the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo or other parts on the continent without looking at the role of the African Union. According to them, their vision is for an integrated, prosperous and peaceful Africa driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. When we rate the African Union in terms of their stance on certain issues on the continent, specifically the Democratic Republic of Congo, how do they fare?
Refreshing morning, my sister, and to the viewers, Jumbo Africa. I think when you look at the role of African Union, and as you have raised, this is one of their pillars in terms of Agenda 2063, dealing with peace, security issues. But if we have to rate them and assess them in 2018, one can say that on conflict resolution, they have done fairly well. When you look at the crisis in Somalia, the Southern Sudan, Ebola crisis as well. But when it comes to DRC, I don't think they have done well. Since 2016, actually, their mediation efforts failed. Hence, the Catholic Church was the key master player in the crisis in Congo in 2016. But when you look at their role again, they are talking about silencing guns in 2020. I think they have not done very well in terms of arms cache that is being sold in Africa, where there is sale of arms and there is a use of children. I mean, the use of children as the child soldiers. So peace again in Africa affects, or conflict in Africa affects development and growth. So once you don't have peace, you don't have justice, you don't have security, development in Africa will even go down to the drain. So it is the challenge to the African Union as well as the donor funding. Is the AU ready to fund its own operations, activities? I think the new chairperson of 2018, the president of Rwanda, tried to raise the issue of membership fees, because many countries that are paying is based on their GDP.
Congo is the heart of Africa. It's in our best interest that it actually works, not only because of the mineral wealth that it possesses, but because also it's got, in terms of just vegetation and what more other things that it possesses, it has to work for us. Why hasn't it worked? In whose interest does this dysfunction benefit? You know,
DRC, as you have said, Democratic Republic of Congo, it has been part of the international agenda since the 1950s to 1960s. But you can blame it even from the Belgian occupation after the Berlin Conference. From 1960, the United Nations has been there. The European countries, including Norway, Belgium, Germany, America, they have got an interest in Congo. But the Congo crisis, again, it was part of the Organization of African Unity mediation. It has failed. The AU, it has failed. Now it is to the Congolese, or the elders and the wise men and women of that country, to restore the history and the dignity of Democratic Republic of Congo, which was known as Zaire. You ask yourself, the name is Democratic Republic of Congo, but there is no elements or characteristics of democracy in that country. So I think, again, whose interest, it is what you call the hidden hands behind any conflict in Africa. And most of the hidden hands are the European countries, and they are after the natural resource. And I think that's where we are failing to even hold them to account. We will only see Congolese rebel leaders being accused before the Hague or the ICC, but we hardly see Europeans who have stolen, who have looted, who have pillaged DRC Congo, mostly in the North Kivu. When you were raising this issue of Goma, what came to my mind was that this is one of the fertile ground soil of the minerals, and conflict has been persistent in that country, even after the elections of 2006, 2011, and even these delayed elections, the North Kivu is once more affected. But finally, I can say to you, the interest should be of the Congolese people.
Another big story to come out of the continent, the the Continental Free Trade Agreement. A number of countries have ratified it, but we've still got a long way to go.
That is quite true. We only have 15 who have ratified. Those who have signed, there are 44. In terms of the law, is that you can sign, but once you have not ratified, you are not ready to can implement. Now we have only 15 who have ratified by December 2018, meaning that free trade is not practical, it is not doable, and it is a thing that helps the people who are selling in the border to border, our crafters, our people who are in the villages, who are forced to pay customer taxes that are very high in the SADC region, in the African region. But again, even to look at the balancing of the economic market and scale.
Right.
Now, the continental free trade, you'll be shocked. South Africa took time to sign it. The big power, Lagos, have not signed. Zimbabwe have not signed. Equatorial Guinea. So you have countries that are very stubborn to go into free trade because they are still looking at the West. So I think this is one challenge that Paul Kagame has left, to say that this free trade will assist Africa not to rely on the West, because we have been dependent on the European manufacturers. We have the raw goods, the material, but it will go to Europe and come back to us. So I think that continental free trade must be practical at the social level, at the business, township, entrepreneur level, because it can be signed there, but if it doesn't make any meaning to our business community and to our traders in the region, then it is just a mere paper.
It's a futile exercise. Very quickly for us, let's pay homage to those whom we have lost on this majestic continent this year.
I think it starts in Mozambique. Afonso Dhlakama, and Renamo is still in tension with Frelimo. Kofi Annan, the elder from Ghana, who was very clear on the issues around Zimbabwe lately, but he made some mess in the Rwanda genocide. Mama Winnie Mandela in April, and I think that is very relevant about Me Winnie Mandela. Me Veronica Zondeni, I think Me Sobukwe becomes the pillar because his husband as well, 2018, we were celebrating 40 years. At a low note, but when you think of Mama Sobukwe, it was so important, despite the clashes and the force that was prevailing in that funeral. But I think these were the great people that we have remembered during the year in terms of politics. I know musically we have lost Brahu, we have lost hip-hop, Panzola, because they were relevant to Africa, both of them. When you look at Jabulani Nzambo and Africa, when you look at Hugh Masekela and Africa, it is always relevant about their thinking and their vision about culture and politics and history.
Indeed. Sipho Mantula, that's where we leave it. Thank you very much for coming through to chat to us this morning. He's from the Institute for Dispute Resolution in Africa.